Hey, so I feel compelled to share some thoughts today about something with y'all. I keep thinking about it, and usually, ever since I started this channel, that seems to be the green light to go and say something about it. 20 years ago, when I first started reading A Course in Miracles, I also read some books by Marianne Williamson, who is a Course in Miracles person, speaker, writer. And she said something in one of these books or in a lecture that stuck with me forever, because I don't know if it just hit me in the right way at the right moment, the way stuff does or what, but this is the simplest and most profound statement, I think, that you forget for the vast majority of your day, every single day, but it's the truth, and it's the thing that can dispel the illusion that you're living in, you know, almost the entire time you're conscious every day. And the statement is, how can we know what we want? How can we know what to ask for? How can we know what to manifest when we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow? It's so, when you think about it, you know, we just live our lives in this illusion that we know what's going to happen all day, every day. It's the source of all hell. It's the source of all illusion. You know, in this manifesting community, I don't know if there are people out there peddling that you can essentially at some point control everything in the 3D. I don't know if that's being said or not. I hope it isn't. But even, you know, when we're talking about manifesting stuff, when you talk about setting an intention and visualizing and, you know, bringing an event about, a key part of that, I think, for anybody who's telling you the truth, is that you really have no idea as a human how that's going to play out, how A to B is going to happen. And when you apply this question to it, how do you even know what you want if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow? That really starts to lead, I think, to only one inevitable conclusion, which is that the only place to be is right here, right now, in the present moment. And if you look at your life right now and you admit that you don't know what's going to happen in the future, you know, how much of what your current existence looks like is something that really needs to be changed. Usually it's not a ton. I mean, even if you have problems that, you know, most people would agree are problems, even if you have like a major health issue or a major money issue or something like that, in the present moment right now, generally speaking, there's not something that is sorely lacking in this instant. Even with big problems, the vast majority of those problems is in your mind, and you don't really know what's going to happen. And you could spend all of your time worrying about what appears to be the rational, logical outcome of whatever your current situation is. And then it, you know, it doesn't happen. And you spent all of that time, energy, and life, you know, thinking about this thing or thinking about an outcome or trying to manifest a way around an outcome that you don't even know is going to happen. You know, when you start to think about that, it really, I don't know, for me, it starts to illuminate the insanity that everybody is living in all the time. And what do you do about this, really? What do you do about this? I can tell you what I've done about it. Aside from reminding myself of that anytime my mind starts to wander off into the future. What I generally try to do is not plan beyond tomorrow. And if something is set up for some time beyond tomorrow that, you know, I don't want to have happen, or that I'm dreading or something like that, I don't even think about it, because I just remind myself of what Marianne said. You know, how do we even know what to worry about when we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow? You could spend all your time dreading an event. How many times have you done this? I've done this so many times. You spend all this time, like every day, some portion of your brain, your energy, your thoughts is like thinking about, oh God, I have that thing coming up in 3 weeks. You know, every day it's just kind of like there. and then that thing doesn't even happen. Something happens so that you don't end up even having to do it, or it's not what you thought it was. You end up going to this event or whatever, having this experience, and it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's not as bad, or it's just crazy. Like, we spend all of our time doing this with all of these unknowns, and it's all an attempt to block out the fact that everything is unknown. It's crazy. I mean, knowing that you do that, is there a choice other than to try to stop doing it? I don't know. But like, think about the plans that so many people had in February of 2020. People had weddings planned. People were planning to finish out their senior year of high school the normal way. There are just a million things that people had planned, that then didn't happen because of this event, which, although it certainly was foreseen by many. I was reading books about the flu epidemic that we were due to have in 1999. I was like, holy shit, this should be happening soon, and whatever. A lot of people knew that it was due to happen, and then it did, and everybody was like, what? But, none of us could have seen when it was going to happen. I mean, just think about that. So many things can happen that cause all of this planning that you're doing, or all of the thoughts, especially for people who are expecting the future to be negative, and that's why you're here, because you're trying to change that or manifest that away, but you spend your time thinking about what to you is the probable negative outcome of circumstances that you're in. So many things can happen to affect that, or shift it, or change it in some way. The only sane thing to do, literally, the only sane thing to do is to be here right now. And, you can't stop paying your bills. You can, I guess, but, you have to sit down and pay your bills, and you have to do that every couple of weeks or however often you do it. And, you have to go to work so that you continue to have money until you figure out another way. But those aren't things that, the amount of energy, time, mental effort spent on dwelling anywhere but right now. And for me, I find that that's challenging. So for me, I'm dwelling between right now and tomorrow night most of the time. And that's where I try to bring myself back to, because of course I wander off of that all the time. That's the only sane thing to do as far as I can tell. And one side benefit of this is that time passes so much more slowly. When you're not living in the future or biding your time right now to get to a future end state, just sort of like the movie Click. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie, probably everybody. The Adam Sandler movie from way back in the day. If you're living your whole life attempting to mentally fast forward to some future place where things are going to be different, you're missing it, because you in the present moment right now is going to be you in the present moment then. The present moment is really the only thing that's actually here ever. So, I don't know, these thoughts were something I wanted to just get out there. That's really been rattling around today. Especially if you're grieving, or if you're going through a rough time, say you're going through a divorce or something like that. It can be really easy, I think, for people who are going through, what they expect and probably will be a major life change, to then envision future outcomes, future experiences, future mental states, emotional states as being inevitable, when you really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You really don't know what's coming with that. And it's when you fixate on certain outcomes that, then you tend to bring them about with your thoughts. That's the whole manifestation thing. So anyway, I hope that gave somebody some nugget. That Marianne Williamson statement has stuck with me for half of my life now. And, really, I think, is a good reminder that you don't know anything. You know, people are really uncomfortable with that. We don't know anything. Like, the fact that we think we know things is an illusion. Especially when you introduce all of the mind influencing reality consciously and intentionally. When you introduce that into the mix, really the only place to be is in the present moment, and to have your intentions. And other than that, is it happening today? Is it happening tomorrow? Then I'm not going to think about it. I mean, if you have an event that you think you're going to have to attend in 3 weeks and you need to buy an outfit for it, go get it done so that you can stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. You take care of the things for the future that need to be taken care of, but you do it using as little mental power as possible, mental energy as possible, and then you don't think about it. Same thing for when you dream about events that you think are going to go great and then they don't. It's just a waste of time to think about anything beyond right now, really. But for me, it's easier to just allow myself to, you know, is it happening later today? Is it happening tomorrow? I allow myself to think about that without too much analysis. Anyway, have a great day.